Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session where we're going to be diving into streaming data architectures and how they can help your organization provide a boosted customer experience. My name is Brittany Schultz, and I'm a product marketing manager here at Precisely, and I'm joined with John St. Val, one of our directors of product management. So, just to dive right in, since the pandemic, both market conditions and technologies have evolved significantly, leading to big shifts in customer buying habits and how they interact with brands in general. To deliver an exceptional customer experience, it's essential to grasp the motivations behind your customers' behaviors. And research indicates that consumers now expect this level of understanding from the brands they choose to engage with. According to PwC, nearly 80% of American consumers point to speed, convenience, knowledgeable help, and friendly service as the most important elements of a positive customer experience. However, customers have a limited number of interactions with your brand, so it's crucial to maximize the value of each one. Even a single negative experience can significantly impact your customer base. About 17% of customers, that's almost one in five, will disengage after just one bad encounter. This figure jumps to 59% after multiple negative experiences. The cost of consumer churn is steep. Acquiring new customers is typically more expensive than retaining those that you already have, and losing engaged customers can end up costing your business twice as much, highlighting the importance of fostering these strong, positive relationships. And customers can label their experiences as negative for a variety of reasons. Speed often is one of these contributing factors. Today's consumers expect real time interactions and responses. And research shows that even 100 milliseconds of delay between a customer's action and the confirmation of that action can lead to a 20% drop in digital traffic, potentially resulting in losses of up to $400 million over time. Beyond quick response times, customers also anticipate personalized interactions with their brands. McKinsey reports that 71% of customers expect this kind of personalization, and 76% feel frustrated when they don't receive it. This frustration can also lead to customer churn, which we've already mentioned is very costly for your business in a bunch of different ways. So, with all of that in mind, we at Precisely feel like in order to deliver an exceptional customer experience, organizations need to have seamless access to all relevant customer and company data. However, accessing all relevant data is a lot easier said than done. The reality of today's digital landscape is that your organization is probably managing data across a complex mix of cloud offerings, on premises platforms, and mainframe or mid range systems. And if you're not doing that already, you're probably planning too soon. Microsoft found that 86% of respondents on their surveys plan to increase their spending in hybrid or multi cloud infrastructure. Now, these hybrid and multi cloud environments present a lot of new opportunities, which are really exciting for businesses, but they also present unique challenges for delivering a superior customer experience, making it both crucial and difficult to achieve this kind of access, especially when you're dealing with these types of environments. And we are going to dive into these challenges more with John. So, John, over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, I think the key thing to keep in mind is that organizations are really planning to invest in these types of infrastructures. And I think this one statistic really just speaks to kind of one element of this, right? So an overwhelming majority of respondents are using multiple cloud providers. But if that's kind of how they're modernizing, think about all these different systems that they have that they've built up over the last several years or several decades, right? If you're using multiple cloud providers, you can also bet that you have, multiples of different data systems, transactional systems, mid-range systems, as Brittany was speaking to. So again, it's really just one indicator. And I think, integrating all these different data sources across your environment is really critical for a vast majority of organizations today. And I think we're seeing these problems kind of rear their heads in different ways. So as organizations look to build out kind of their data mesh, as they start to redefine who owns data and who owns data processes, I think you're starting to see a shift from data owned by IT to data owned by specific business organizations or business units that need it for the purposes of analytics or the purposes of creating new applications. And this is really changing the way people look at how they're delivering data today, right? I think historically you've had a lot of different disparate solutions, right? So kind of loosely coupled technologies that organizations have used to move data from, one point of your environment to another. We've also seen sort of batch ETL processes, right? Maybe for your initial analytics use cases, you had kind of an in-house solution that one of your developers or one of your teams built. Or again, you have kind of different solutions for different departments depending on when they procured a specific solution to fulfill their needs. So you have kind of this disparate landscape of solutions, which really results in kind of a lot of resource intensive data processing, right? I'm getting data from I'm using different tools to get it there. And so ultimately that puts a lot of pressure on my data processing engine to homogenize or normalize all of that data. And then I think, there are other considerations that maybe we didn't have 5, 10, 20 years ago when we built this architecture, thinking about cloud modernization and how we can use the latest AI solutions. So we're seeing sort of a rethinking of a lot of the designs that went into the traditional data pipelines. And I think there's also sort of this focus on metadata, right? How can I better understand the metadata around my environment so I can troubleshoot IT problems or understand the impact of specific business events? So building up kind of a comprehensive collection of metadata and being able to use that to govern how you understand your business processes or how you understand your data for analytics, for new applications, I think is really important as we look forward. And it's something, again, that historically we haven't really addressed with these kind of one-off solutions or point solutions that maybe moved data or maybe showed us a little bit of a viewpoint into data lineage or relationships between different solutions. And I think, considering how things used to be and how they are today or how we're seeing them evolve, I think we're really seeing a major focus on developing sort of a streaming hub for all types of data within your environment. So being able to set up flexible data pipelines that maybe don't go to one particular technology, but go to a flexible data stack that allows you to use them within different technologies. And I think that's how we're seeing a lot of things play out today. Making your data available in real time and making it available in a flexible way such that as these technologies grow or evolve, you're able to adapt those pipelines and develop things in an agile fashion. And again, what you're using to kind of interact with that data is going to change over time. So the language that you're using to interact with it, the logic that you're specifying on it, whether you're using it, again, for applications or AI-based applications, right? There's a whole collection of solutions and tools out in the marketplace today, and it's really growing exponentially. And so configuring kind of this real-time streaming architecture ensures that you have up to the second data to perform whatever task you might need. And again, it also makes you flexible so that you can jump between these different technologies, and you're sort of providing insurance that that gives you a little bit of foundational capability to ensure that you're not going to have to rebuild these pipelines from scratch every single time you have a net new technology that emerges. Right? I can set something else up once that will allow me to move forward today, but also set me up so that I can kind of plug and play different technologies in the future. And, obviously we at Precisely have a certain perspective on this, but I think what we've seen within the market are a number of different sort of key elements that allow you to deliver the services that you need that will meet some of the demands that Brittany outlined at the beginning of the session, right? We understand that, whether it's fair or not, our customer base, the market in general, demands things at the speed of light 24/7. And so, the pipes that drive your new use cases, the things that move data from one database to another to perform kind of deep customer analysis, to present dashboards to customers, to provide, up to the second offers and different solutions, those are all driven by fault tolerant replication pipelines that span all of your environment and kind of divert that data to maybe one specific location, one specific framework, so that it can be used in a variety of ways. So while we all think about kind of customer experience and customer analytics as what the end customer receives in their email or on their phone, I think it all really starts with having these data pipelines that move data from wherever it might be coming into the system and getting it where it needs to go so we can provide new data services. So that first capability that you see there is really foundational, and probably less discussed than some of the others that you might hear in the marketplace today. And I think, all of us have dreams to grow our businesses and grow the customer base that we have today. And I think in order to kind of have confidence in the solution, it not only needs to be sort of fault tolerant and resilient with the workload that you have today, but it needs to be scalable into the future. It needs to continue to perform well as you grow your customer base, as you have more partners, as you provide more services that need access to this data. I think you need to ensure that these pipelines are going to scale to meet the demands of your business. And I think there are two ways to think about that scalability, right? One is, well, can we grow this over time as we potentially grow our business by, 5, 10, 20%? And then there's the other kind of scalability and performance that comes along with, well, we have spikes at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter or in a particular season. And so you need a solution that's going to be adaptable to both as you're kind of building out this new use case that you might have with a particular department or customer facing idea, I guess you could say. And so as we kind of find these solutions, I think there are other benefits that we look to. Being able to create a particular kind of pipeline and deploy it in different environments depending on the specific use case. I've spoken with so many different organizations today that are either just starting their data journey, that are moving between environments that have a certain use case for 6 to 8 months, and then they're pivoting that use case to a different system. Being able to design something once and then deploy it in different environments seamlessly as you begin to modernize, as you modify your applications, as you grow, I think is also very fundamental to your success, right? You need to be able to be flexible, because in today's environment, we're all in kind of a different place, and none of us are really in the same place that we hope we'll be in 5, 6 months from now. I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but making data available where and when you need it. So creating these kind of pipelines where you're streaming data and users can either consume it in different ways, they can subscribe to it, it can be consumed by different technologies in an automated fashion. Being able to provide data where and when you need it is going to help drive all of these different use cases that you might have within your organization, right? You want to migrate an application. If I'm testing that application, if I'm migrating certain components of it, I need the data where and when I need it. If I'm looking to drive a new customer service, or I'm looking to provide them new insights into spending or claims or tracking in their shipments, right? I need that data available in an instant where and when I need it, so that the consumer has confidence in the new service that I'm providing, and they want to come back and they want to use that service again. So data where and when you need it is important. And all of these things together, I think, drive this personalized customer experience, right? So when we think about a new application that an organization has, or whatever the latest service is or trend that's really driving the market, I think we think about that front end, right? We think about the experience, but all of these different things that I just spoke about help to drive that experience. So it's not just the concept or the visuals that the end user sees, it's all of these things that you need to build something that's really going to deliver value in a consistent and repeatable way. And I think, we at Precisely have a lot of the things that help make these projects successful. And it's, a lot of it is about the software, which we've spent, the past 55 plus years developing and honing. But a lot of it is also about the experience. And, you want the team that has the best tools and the best experts to provide you advice in a lot of these situations, right? Having software alone, while valuable, I think doesn't really provide you with the holistic, partnership that a lot of organizations need, because we uncover new problems, we learn things about our data, we try new use cases that originally we hadn't intended, but arise because of needs within the business or opportunities within the market. And so, you need something that's going to be built for purpose, but you also need folks that are going to work with you as you grow and evolve. And I think that's becoming a lot more important. At Precisely, we're also sort of unique in that we are combining not just software and expertise or services that we can provide, but also data sets, right? Being able to augment the data that you have within your business with different curated data sets that are continually updated and made available in common stores and via API. I think, having this type of comprehensive offering unlocks more value for your whole organization. I'm going to get my data where and when I need it. It's going to be in the format that I need it in. I'm going to have peripheral data services enrich that data or make it more valuable by finding patterns in not only, the sales that I have, but maybe, the locations where my customers live and what I should know about, our demographics around the country or in a particular location. So all of these things really provide a comprehensive offering that I think has a number of different value adds for really organizations across industry. And I think it's being able to drive that business impact that's really, the key differentiator for all of us, right? Well, it's great that you have expertise in certain areas. It's great that you have software that can perform certain tasks. But what's really the bottom line, right? We need to be able to drive value. We need to be able to drive business, new engagements with customers, better customer retention and a new customer experience. And so, we'll certainly work with you to prove out the business value of your use case and to help actually present kind of the business case that you need to move forward and accomplish what you need in kind of your data-centric operations moving forward. So again, it's not just software, it's not just expertise. It's, how can we craft specific services to deliver value? How can we provide a collection or a well-suited portfolio of offerings that can drive or provide value in different areas of your kind of data integrity pipeline, and being able to validate, those use cases with your bottom line. Now, we at Precisely have a broad portfolio, but I do want to spend some time just drilling into a couple different product offerings and a couple different use cases with specific customers, because, it's great to hear us talk about all the different things that you need and, our point of view, but I think it's even more important, again, to prove out that bottom line and show how we've validated a lot of things that we've discussed here with specific brands that exist within the market today. So far we've talked a lot about, data pipelines, getting data where you need it to be. I think data integration remains a kind of critical element to, unlocking the potential of your data. Again, the data elements that exist within the vast majority of the Fortune 500 include mainframes, they include mid-range, they include other transactional servers, they include file systems. And we saw that statistic earlier about, multiple cloud platforms as well, right? So not only are you drawing from different systems, but you're potentially populating multiple systems as well. So I think data integration is kind of critical to providing new services, new applications. We're nothing without the data that we have within our systems. And so I think building these trusted, resilient, real-time data integration pipelines to normalize your data and make it available is really kind of critical to this whole modernization exercise that we're all engaged in at the moment. And then I think we also need to think about kind of the other end of the spectrum, right? We talked about that pipeline or those 5 steps just a minute ago. And I think it might start with data integration, but certainly that end customer engagement is critical as well. So I think what, again, is unique about Precisely is we kind of have this comprehensive offering that spans the entire spectrum. And so while one end of it sits data integration, kind of onboarding those different data sets, I think the other end of it sits our customer engagement capabilities and how we can help you drive personalized communications, different touch points with your customers. And so I think those two things together really allow us to kind of paint a picture. We have organizations that are building data pipelines so they can create alerts for their customers based on real-time business events that they're driving or that they're observing within their system. And so being able to provide sort of real-time offerings brings this whole thing together, and it's sort of the North Star that we're all sort of marching towards, right? Can I analyze my data in real time, and can I engage with customers in such a way that I'm providing an additional value that they did not have prior to their experience with me or with a competitor in the market or something to that effect? So again, a broad set of portfolios, but I really just want to zero in on these two kind of capabilities because I think they're critical to meeting customers where they are on the platform they are using, I guess you could say, and providing the data that they need to kind of make their selection or their next step. So, in addition to specific products, again, I think it's important to understand specific customer examples that we have. So I'll walk through a few of those now. We'll talk about 2 different customers that utilize Precisely integration solutions and how they were able to take that technology and their experience to drive value for their organization. So Citizens Bank is looking to become kind of the market leader in driving a digital banking experience. They want to have more touch points with customers online. They want to take advantage of cloud technologies. They want to provide a personalized experience to all of their users while taking advantage of the latest technologies to help drive kind of a customer experience that's head and shoulders above their competition. And I think before we were working with them, one of the things they really struggled with was getting sort of accurate views of their customers across various channels. So they work with specific payment partners. They have different business units within the bank themselves. And so they have data flowing from a number of different areas. And if I'm looking to provide, again, a real-time offering or an update or an email alert or a text to my customers, I need to be able to kind of collect all these different data sources at once. As I have these ideas to grow my business, provide new offerings, the longer I'm not doing that, the longer I'm delaying either bringing that use case to market or the longer I'm taking in kind of developing that use case, those are missed opportunities for me to sell, additional services, for me to improve my customer satisfaction. So there's a real missed opportunity with not bringing things to market or delaying bringing things to market. And then I think the other cost is, what's the maintenance on the systems that I'm running? Can I modernize the system that I'm using so that as I'm building out these new use cases, it doesn't cost me so much money to maintain? And so these are things that Citizens Bank was encountering. And in working with us to replicate some of their unstructured hierarchical mainframe data to Confluent Kafka on AWS, we were able to make that data available in new ways. We were able to change the endpoints for some of the applications that they had, so they were reducing the cost to drive their mainframe workload. They had a better customer experience because they were starting to bring together all these different data systems. They had access to different data points, so they didn't have situations where they were sending emails or text alerts or updates within their applications that were inconsistent. And again, having access to this data allowed them to bring their projects to market much faster. I think they estimated it was somewhere around 150 to 250 days, depending on the project. And they have a number of different use cases at this point. So they are reducing costs. They are changing some of the areas of focus from a technology standpoint that they're working with. focusing more on cloud and less on services that interact directly with the mainframe. And then they're also building kind of this new brand, right? They're trying to build this customer experience that hopefully will be, continually valuable as they drive this new digital banking experience for their users. So I think this is one example of a specific organization that was able to point to tangible benefits that they had from an operational efficiency standpoint, while also kind of marching them towards where they want to be from from kind of a brand and customer image type of relationship. The other customer that I'll talk about is a retailer, specifically a French retailer that's a luxury goods conglomerate. And they have a number of different business units around the world in a global operation. And they were looking to get better insight into their supply chain, into their sales. Where am I selling things? Where are my warehouses shipping them from? How can I better create efficiencies in those areas? And it's not that they weren't doing this in some way, shape, or form previously, but they weren't really doing it at scale, and they weren't doing it in real time. They had kind of a combination of home developed ETL processes as well as less scalable ETL solutions, third-party vendor solutions that were used across the enterprise by different departments. So they had different solutions to move data. They had different reporting on that data depending on the department. And so the whole purpose of this engagement was to help standardize the consumption of data, help standardize the formatting of data, the solutions being used, so that we could improve together kind of the time to market of analysis for some of these processes. And so working with this particular organization, we were able to replicate some of their mid-range systems data in real time to a Google BigQuery Cloud Target, where they could begin to analyze data that they had never been able to merge with some of the other data sets in their environment before. They had not been replicating a lot of this mid-range data outside of their on-premises environment. And that was really limiting them because this data housed a lot of critical kind of transactional information, core inventory information that they had. And so, through engaging with them, they're now able to better start to analyze all of these things that I've mentioned. And they're starting to develop plans for efficiencies. They're starting to develop kind of actions that they can take to improve the overall bottom line of their business. So again, I think a lot of these initiatives are not something that's going to be accomplished in a week or a month or 6 months. Some of these organizations are really trying to change how they look at the data across their enterprise. And I think, again, it's important to have a partner that's going to help you on that journey and meet your needs today while also growing and evolving with you to continue to drive success and value. So I know we've talked about a number of different things today, some market trends and analysis. We've talked about some foundational capabilities, a couple different customer use case examples. But I think that the takeaway is that this journey to trusted data, to building a data set that you can use for whatever your business purpose is very complex, and it's continuous. And I think there are different problems that you're going to face along the way. But again, this gets back to partnering with a particular organization that can deliver value at each step and can meet you all the way through this data pipeline. So if you need multiple capabilities to get you from your raw data format to delivering content to your end user, we can provide that for you. And then I think on the flip side of it, if you just have specific point needs, if you have a need to integrate data, if you have a need to improve your data quality or potentially augment the data that you have within your environment with trusted, curated data sets, I think these are all different areas where we can engage with you to try to provide a little more value. And I think that's all we're looking to do, right, is use the experience that we've developed over the last 55 plus years to help make some step in this data lifecycle a little bit easier as you chart your path towards trusted data and data integrity. So
Awesome.
thank you very much. And yeah, Brittany, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, thank you, John. I feel like that was super, super insightful. Unfortunately, we don't have time for questions today, but if you found that you were interested or want to learn more about anything that we've spoken about this presentation, we will be following up with you via email. So thanks everyone so much for their time today and have a good one.